Welcome back to another episode of the Creative Finance Playbook Podcast. I'm your host, Jen.
I'm Joe.
And today we have Micah. He is the owner of US Lead List, and he has been investing since 2014. And guys, he's here to share a really interesting way for you to generate leads using pre-probate and inheritance lists and how that looks, how you're going to talk to people, what that's going to entail. And so if you're looking for a new or different way to generate some more leads because you know you need leads for your business, you are at the right spot. Thanks so much for coming in today, Micah.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's always a pleasure to be in your presence.
Well, no, it's been great. And, we're part of the same mastermind together, which is great. So we see each other, we get to hang out, have dinner. But, the what you do, the service you do is actually really awesome because when we're talking about somebody who just inherited a home, right, they sometimes have a lot of things going on almost every time, right?
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack, literally, emotionally.
We've done a lot of business with some of these folks, and some of them are struggling financially, some aren't. Some of them, the biggest thing is they don't know what to do with all of mom or dad's stuff, and they're overwhelmed. They got their own busy lives going on. And so we'd love to help people, but this is a way to find people who actually just had a tough situation going on in family. So today we're going to talk about A, how you guys help us find them. B, what do these conversations sound like? They're going to be a lot different than somebody who, is either cold calling or things like that. So we're going to break down some tactical things, some good resources, and don't freak out because at the end, Mike is going to give out his cell phone number. No, I'm just kidding. But he's going to give you his contact information. So if you want to know how to work with him directly, we'll have his links in the show notes. So don't worry about a thing. But once again, thank you so much. If you could give us a snapshot of, Micah, where you're located and some of the awesome stuff you're doing.
Sure, yeah. So I'm in Southwest Wisconsin, just outside of Madison. I've got 4 kids. Today, actually, is my daughter's 18th birthday, my oldest, which is really
That's a big one.
Really weird feeling. So that's top of mind for me right now. I have a wonderful wife, and I run this business. So I kind of wear that hat, and then I also do use my own marketing locally, and basically the Southwest corridor here. And so, it's fun being on both sides. I get to talk with other people, my clients who are in all over the nation, and then I get to work my own and I get to kind of implement tactics from them, and I get to give my tactics back to clients who ask for help. And so, that's kind of high level what I do. As far as investment real estate, I'm not strictly creative finance. I have buy and hold, I have short term, I have midterm, I have multifamily, I wholesale, flip, kind of really any way to make money. I need to incorporate more creative finance. I'm not as diligent as I should be as, kind of poking that question when I'm talking to sellers. So I got to take a page from your guys' book.
Well, you know what? There's many times people are thrilled you're able to pay their price, and they're so happy that you could even break it up into payments. I mean, just before we hopped on, I'm not going to blow his cover, but he's mailing out a letter because you're buying, is it a parcel of land from Amish folks?
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
But you're mailing the contract because they don't do email.
It's got to be a hard copy. They use 2 stamps just in case. I don't know if it's too heavy. I don't know.
I just love that though, because, we resonate best with those who are doing the business, that they also are like coaching or providing, like there's just something so genuine about that because you're in the space and you can truly relate.
So you're doing the business, which I love, but you're also providing a service for others doing that. How did you even get into that? Can you dabble a little bit more into this?
Yeah, absolutely. I started real estate 2014. I went to the school of hard knocks, no college. I skipped all that. I was going to say crap, but it can be useful for the right people. I skipped that, worked in restaurants forever. I always had some kind of side hustle. 14, I got into real estate. I bought a 4-plex for $52,000 and it just blew my mind. I'm like, man, I'm making almost as much money with a single property cash flowing as my job. And it kind of just exploded from there. So that was how real estate started. Fast forward about 6 years. During COVID, I hurt my back. I had a construction company and I was horizontal for like 6 months. Couldn't get out of bed. It was awful. And for anyone who, has never hurt their back, when people say, hey, be careful of your back, they mean it because it is the most painful, excruciating, awful thing, except for maybe getting a surgery where they're kind of messing with your intestines. That maybe sounded a little bit worse.
No, because I was good in a couple of weeks, 2 weeks. I was good. You were hung up for 6 months.
You were down for months. Sounds like
It was really bad. So I had to shut down my construction company, and all the while I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. For the most part, I wasn't financially free. I didn't have a lot of flexibility in my finances. And so I started looking at businesses to buy. I vetted over 100 businesses while I was sitting laid up, just one and another and another. And eventually I landed on US Lead List. The two owners, they were in their 70s. We're like, we're done. Time to cash in the chips. We want to sell. And I arranged a deal with them and purchased a company from them. But yeah, there was some nice upsides. They were running a completely digital business, but they were doing everything on paper. It was crazy. Like the inefficiencies these guys had, it was kind of spectacular. So yeah, that's how I got into the business. That's how it started. And then basically since then, I've just poured all of my attention into making it better product, better data, and then incorporated that into my real estate game.
That's awesome. So for some of our listeners out there, they're seasoned investors and like, oh my gosh, this is great. I totally get it. But we might have some new folks listening. So how do you help investors find motivated sellers
Sure.
with US Lead List?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the first thing is like, okay, what is our product? Because, I'm going to mostly say inheritance list. That's a term that the former owners coined because we're not just specifically doing probate. There's a lot of stuff that, data that we're generating that doesn't go through probate. So what the inheritance list is we're aligning death and real estate ownership. So, there's a kind of four main categories that the data falls into. The first is pre-probate. It's before probate happens. We're not, waiting for that public record. We're doing our rendering based on when someone passes away. So that's one category. The next is surviving spouses. So, if a spouse passes away, there's another spouse who's still alive and they own the property, that ends up on the list. And then trusts, if property is in a trust, someone could be surviving, but it's already, the beneficiaries are already laid out by the trust. That makes it on our list. And the last is interfamily transfers before the death. So you kind of get a mishmash of all those scenarios on your list every month, and it's set up like a subscription service. So you pick a county, and that county, your seats in that county, if it's available, is yours. We only sell any given county 3 times, and you get, all the leads from that area sent to you on a monthly cadence when we build our national list for this, inheritance. Is that a good summation? Did I miss any pieces as far as how and what?
Well, no, and I think it's super helpful too, because like we chatted about a little bit earlier, a lot of these times, these folks are overwhelmed. And the neat thing about it is you're only going to talk with people who need help. There's some of these people who don't need any help, and that's fine. They probably won't call you back or write you back, and then that's great. But the people who actually do need help will be the ones that you're going to connect with. And
Absolutely.
I think of many times where I had a passing in my family. I think of my grandmother. Like when my grandfather passed away, my gosh, she's dealing with the loss of her loved one. She's dealing with family all going over everything. She's got this house. She's got stuff. It's definitely overwhelming. And so I can't imagine if you're trying to do that on your own, maybe even without family, it's got to be more.
Yeah, that's hard. And I really like how I think you guys see it. You understand, you've dealt with inheritance, I'm sure, in your own investment business. But, what I've found in marketing to these folks for the last 5 years, there's 2 really big obstacles that these people are dealing with out of the gates. The first is emotional and the second is logistics. And, usually they've never experienced the combination and intensity of both of those things at the same time in their life. And so it takes a delicate hand kind of stepping in, working with these people. And, you really have to show up with kind of the server mentality. And I would also say, I don't mean to exclude new investors because there are some new investors who are really, really good at doing this. But if you don't feel comfortable, if you don't have a sense of how to talk, connect, create rapport, get understanding, active listening, focusing attention of the seller, like this is going to be a hard list for you. You're going to take these calls and you're going to be like, nothing's happening here. But if you can do this, basically what I say, like get them to know, like, and trust you. And I do that mostly by active listening, repeating what they're saying. I ask open-ended questions, and, you speak in a way that makes them feel confident that what you're telling them you're going to do is going to happen. You can work through those emotions and you can work through those logistics. And it does take time. It's not like, these people are ready to go right away, but you can negotiate and win some of the biggest deals that you're ever going to close with this list.
Yeah. And let's take a pause too, because somebody maybe has never even purchased leads at all. Maybe they've been doing our free Facebook method, but they're ready to take that step. So, kind of walk us through that. Can you kind of explain, like, do you provide just the phone numbers? Are you also giving the addresses? Do you send out letters? Like, how does this whole picture look for someone that wants to get a list for their county? What does it kind of paint that picture for us?
Sure, yeah. So as far as the data that we provide, we've layered on a bunch of things. So, it's skip traced. We find the spouse, if there is one. We look for additional relatives, 3 additional relatives. We skip trace all those people. And we're looking to see if the property is vacant. That's a factor. You obviously can't mail to a property if it's vacant. They're better to cold call. We append tax delinquency, like tax delinquency and death, like those two things usually go together. And so, I was actually going to discredit our product. We use tax delinquent like with the data from national aggregators, which is actually really bad. The way that I do it is I go straight to the county, I grab the tax delinquent list from them, and then I put it together from there. So that's another step, but it should be done because the tax sales and probate or stuff that should go through probate is very frequent. And then we provide the mailing address, and then one of my favorite factors that we include is we're also looking to see if they own more properties other than their home. Not all leads are created equal. So if I can market to someone who I know has 10 properties in addition to his house, he ran this business, a spouse is gone, that really oftentimes provides impetus where they're like, I'm done. I want out. Or maybe the person who managed it passed away and all of a sudden it's someone else's job. And that ends up being a really, really big pain point. So if you can insert yourself, actually, last year, one of my biggest deals, I got a seller finance package deal from a guy who's just looking to sell. I think from those 3 properties, we made over 200K. I don't do, like I said, I don't do a ton of creative finance, but that was one where, the guy he had the money, he wanted to finance it, and it worked out great for everyone involved.
As it should. I love that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's high level. Like I said, we build that, national database once a month, and then we provide that on a subscription basis. So you get all that data, it's sent to your email with a purchase.
And I absolutely love that too, because once again, I dial back into it. We have a situation right now that we have where the woman has a house, her husband passed away. The house is full of stuff. I mean, I'm not trying to gross anybody out, but there's like shovels of dog poop inside the house. This poor lady didn't even have a car till just a few weeks ago, lives on the other side of town, and she's just like, I can't. She's like, I can't deal with it. I could hardly get over to this house. She's just overwhelmed. So when you are finding these people, like you said, they are. She's like, I just had it. And this is in one of the hottest neighborhoods in the entire country. It's rated like #1 fastest area for selling, which is Rochester, New York. And this is one of the best zip codes in the town. Everything still goes for way over asking. Oh, these sellers are everywhere. That's my
Everywhere.
point. They're in the high-end neighborhoods. This isn't even high-end. This is just average, but it's a really great community, super great school district. And when my guys went over there to go look at it, because we're in Florida where we live, and this house is in New York, because that's where we're from, he was like, people were driving by saying, I've been trying to buy this house for years, but meanwhile, it's been sitting there vacant for years. The grass, the outside, I wouldn't want to live in a neighborhood and have that next door to me.
Absolutely.
And when I talked to this lady, she's like, are you really going to be able to pay that price and give me that much money? She's like, you're like a dream come true. She was so thrilled. So the fact that we're able to yes, make some money, and there's plenty of times I help people and we make zero. There's also a flip side where we do make money, and that's good. But helping people and the amount of joy that she hears and relief and what she's already going through and how she's hitting the easy button, man, bud, Micah, you just hit it right on the head. Like this is a great way to help people and do some really good deals.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, a lot of people avoid it, right? It's like, I don't want I don't want to insert myself into that painful place. And, after doing this for as many years as I have, and I'm sure you guys would agree, the more complex, the more challenging the situation is, the harder it is. Usually the bigger and more profitable the deals are. The solution that you're providing is more meaningful in those situations. And so if you show up and you do a good job representing, helping this person, connecting with them and giving them what they need, it's great. It's good that you're getting paid, and people don't mind because you're solving such a intense problem for them.
Oh, and I think the one we also did back home, there was 7 dumpsters worth of
I was thinking
stuff
about that deal.
7 dumpsters in the house worth of stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, we donated a lot of all the good stuff, but there was just garbage and just
Well, the odd
debris.
thing too is, like you said, you can't discredit like people or money. I mean, these people were millionaires, multimillionaires, and yet the house was in total disarray. Like you just couldn't believe the kitchen, the bathroom, the stuff, and left their daughter like all of this money, but also this huge burden that she emotionally is just like, I can't handle that house. So the fact that you're able to help people out in those situations, yeah, they need it for sure. And I love what you said too, dialing back to it's a delicate situation, right? Like we always try to say like we have the white glove service. We try to really always take care of all of our people, but this adds an extra layer when there is somebody, a family member that's passed away, like when emotions are extra heightened. So like any more kind of tips that you can give to someone who's wanting to get into these waters and does have a caring servant's heart and really does want to make a difference. Anything that you can suggest of like how you're able to help these people that maybe even they come off a little grumpy because they are so upset.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think especially to the grumpy, because, you get angry calls. If you're marketing enough, you're going to get frustrated people. It doesn't matter what list, but specifically around death, that actually, when I first bought the company, that really actually used to bother me. It hung on my heart. And, for me, it took me a long time to realize it's like that anger is actually not for me. They're angry because they lost something that's irreplaceable. And so once I realized that, once that kind of clicked in my mind, like I can witness their anger, their frustration, the pain that they're feeling. If they want to direct it to me, like that's fine. Like I can understand why they would feel that way. My dad's going through it right now. His wife just passed away from cancer about 6 months ago. Like, he's still grieving, still working through all of those things, still frustrated. And so, know that's coming, but don't take it personally. That's not yours to carry, but maybe you can be there as a witness for someone else. But as far as, just marketing, connecting with them, showing up, I think a few things that is helpful. So in general, the average age of the person that's on this list, it's mid 70s, pretty old in general by, I guess, at least our standards. But they don't have the same sense of the newer technological world. And so if you're cold calling them, give them breadcrumbs of how you got their number. So like for me, what I'm saying, or I teach my acquisition guy, it's like if you're making a call, they're like, well, how did you get this information? Well, we looked up your number on we looked up your property on county records. And then we went to this crazy website. It's called True People Search. And I've had people on the phone with me that they go to the website and type their name and they're like, holy crap, would you look at that? My number is right there. I didn't even know that crazy thing like this existed. And, all of a sudden it goes from skepticism to I'm a truth teller. And that pivot just helping them understand, connect the dots, you get put into a different category as a person. You're not a stranger anymore. You're like, like they're told the truth. They provided evidence. They showed up. So that's been really helpful for me. In general, like long-term follow-up is really key for these people. If even if you're not marketing to this list, but you get a lead and they had someone pass away, they're trying to figure it out, just showing up in ways to be helpful. Don't give up on them. Don't sleep on those leads. Because I've lost like hundreds of thousands of dollars in deals because it's like, oh, no, I'll just wait. I'll get back to them later. And then they sell to my competition or someone else. That's a hard lesson to learn because, you have to kind of experience the loss to feel the pain to not do that anymore and create a system to kind of hold yourself accountable. And I think the last thing, I really like direct mail to these folks. So I send a lot of direct mail personally, on my opening letter. I know I'm in a different market than, at least in Florida. And maybe this is comparable to New York where you guys were at. But in my first letter to these folks, I don't even tell them I want to buy the property. I just say, hey, I have a question about your property. And in my area, we're getting an average 12, 13% response rate to that letter. And so you get this giant response and, you have to triage a good amount of them. But just those conversations, like getting people to like you, it's like, it's not even about like buying the house, at least initially. Like normally I would ask a lot of qualifying questions to get my leads, just to make sure that they're actually leads, right? With this list, it's like, I have to show my best foot forward. Like statistics show that these people are going to sell their house 50% of the time over the next 2 years. So, you're kind of building a long-term funnel by spending time connecting with these people, maybe listening to some stories. I've heard some crazy stories about, you know, war and just all sorts of random things. That's fine. You got to show up. You got to be a witness to someone's life and make them feel important. It doesn't always lead to deals, but sometimes it does. And I'm rambling a little bit, but I think that all of those things kind of gives you a taste of like how it goes, how I try and show up, what I'm trying to do for these folks on the calls when I meet them or on the phone.
I don't think it's rambling. I think you're being honest. And I think, like you said, being that truth teller, that is so important because in this day and age, so many people are craving authenticity. And that's why we love Facebook because you can literally see, go live, show the pictures. So having that back to back. So you now just calling someone or sending a letter, you have to build that a different way. And so either way you're doing it, it's really important to build that know, like, and trust.
Absolutely.
And you're doing it without being some of the maybe knucklehead investors who are like, I want to buy your house. How much you want to sell it, right? And they just come in red hot blazing. And that's where you get a lot of that resistance.
Yeah. And a bad rap.
And, even if you're talking to a motivated seller and they don't have any of that going on, you still, you got to mind your P's and Q's and do it the right way. But when you're dealing with this crowd, it's a little bit more sensitive. It is definitely more sensitive. They just, like you said, had something that's irreplaceable, lost for their life forever.
You're not just going to spam them with postcards or, I buy houses, quick cash. Like you said, you don't even mention buying the house in the first letter. I hope everybody caught that when he dropped that gold.
Micah's slick, that's why.
I try. I'm learning.
Well, hey, that's the point. And that's what I love, to be able to find these deals, because you're right. Some of the best deals that we have done have been from obviously highly motivated sellers. Every one of them are highly motivated, the ones we've done over the last 25 years. And out of that group, some of them have had this happen. So this is a common occurrence. It happens. And as we have the boomer generation all getting older, this is going to be, you're going to start seeing more of this, guys. So it's not the end all be all. It's just one extra way to get another tool in your tool belt. And this is the key to doing it, is how to isolate and find a motivated crowd, good follow-up, so good practices in your business, because many times they might not sell the first time you talk to them. Many times they don't. But it's being kind, it's being consistent, and putting your best foot forward. And then after they get to know you a little bit more and trust you, that's where your best deals are going to come from, and obviously your best opportunities. But you got to follow up, because maybe they're going through some stuff in the beginning, but then when they get to the point where I'm done, I have to have it sold, they need to turn over their shoulder, and there you are. I mean, they're not going to be looking for you for too long before they go find somebody else. So if you think they're not close to selling, I'm going to follow up with them in a year or even 6 months, that might not be.
Well, even today, the lady's like, I'll give you a call. And I'm thinking in my head, you're going to call her tomorrow. The last lady you were just talking to.
Oh, yeah. We're doing the deal. I'm calling her back after this.
You're not waiting for her calling
Listen,
you.
we got to create a
finance. You
finance.
never wait for your leads to call you.
No.
Take their time, divide it in half at a minimum, and get back to them.
Hey, we had a call. Seller is motivated to sell. She needs to move closer. She's going through cancer treatments right now, needs to move closer to the hospital. She does not want to take care of the yard and all the stuff. She's got a beautiful house.
I was talking about the New York seller.
Pardon me?
I was talking about the New York seller.
Oh, that one too. Man, that one too.
Make deals. You're just.
Well, the creative deal I really like, because she doesn't need any money.
Yeah.
We're going to buy it for closing costs. And she has a 3.8 rate. So I love those deals, and they're out there.
Speed to lead. We always talk about that, though. That's so important. So I got to ask, obviously we call it the playbook, and you rattled off all the different plays that we love running too: wholesaling, hoteling, fix and flip. I don't know if you do that at all, but what's your favorite? Do you have a favorite strategy that you do use? I know how you find some of your leads deals, but do you have a favorite investment strategy?
Yeah. I mean, it's actually more of a tax play, honestly. So I have multifamily and I have short-term rentals. And so I really like short-term rentals when I can find a good one that actually cash flows, because normally they're nice properties. It's an asset to my life, which is more than I can say for all the multifamilies, that I own. So I can go visit this place. It's somewhere I want to be. And then I do a cost segregation on that property. I offset my regular income, and, I just plan on holding it in perpetuity. That for me solves my own specific problems in the best way. But I just love real estate. I like land. I just love real estate. I like any deal. It doesn't matter. I like being part of the deal, creating the deal, and getting it done.
I love that. I don't think I'll ever retire. It's my job, it's my business, it's my career, and it's my hobby, all wrapped in one. And
That's exactly right.
it's what I love to do. So, I feel lucky I get to do this every day. Even when I'm not working, I'm in my hobby mode.
So I
still
got to ask,
working.
how did the land deal come across your desk?
So let's see. I mean, working with Amish is different, right? So I actually bought this. So it's a short-term rental now. I bought it from an Amish person. He sold his whole farm right after I bought this property to another Amish guy. He was from, I think, and he's been up here for about 2 years. And so I know him. He built my fence. He does stuff for me because it's maybe 2 hours away from my house. And the last time I saw him, I just had this feeling that he was getting tired of Wisconsin. And I was just like, hey, if you ever, were thinking about getting rid of any of your land, I'd be interested in this chunk right down here. He's like, well, I don't like winters here. And I just talked to someone else about selling my property, and I think he's going to buy it. And I don't think he'd mind if you shave that corner off of the land down there. And so it's kind of like what you guys said, talk to the people around you. Deals are everywhere. And, especially personal relationships. It's like, this guy doesn't care. I'm paying him more than what the, going rate for land is down there, but I'm turning it into buildable lots, and I'm going to, I don't know, 2x my money and going in on this before I even put a house on them. And so, learning how to see the deal, and then just, lean on the people close to you. They all own real estate for the most part, and they have problems too.
I had to ask. I'm so glad I did.
That's awesome. Doing deals even with Amish folks. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate you taking time, especially on your daughter's 18th birthday. I hope you have something fabulous planned and dinner or something fun.
We've got a great dinner. She has a surprise party that she doesn't know about this weekend, so don't tell her, please.
A slip seal.
We won't air this till after that, then, I promise.
I
Oh
appreciate
Just
my
in case
gosh.
she's tuning in.
I can't even imagine. Our oldest will be 13 this year, and that seems old. So 18.
We're
wild.
about to have a teenager in the house.
Good luck, guys. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. So where's all the good spots for people to find you, connect with you? We'll leave all these in the show notes, but where do you want people reaching out?
Email is great. Honestly, I have my assistant. She'll check my email and kind of connect from there. So, Micah at usleadlist.com. Go into our website, check it out. It's usleadlist.com. Otherwise, Facebook is probably the best way to connect if you want to reach out on there.
Good. We'll put all that down in the show notes, and you could even send him a letter in the mail if you want to, just like he's doing, right?
Boom.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on once again. We'll be seeing you next week at the
super
Mastermind.
excited to connect at the Family Mastermind. So if you love what you're hearing, make sure you leave some comments below. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And of course, leave us a review on Apple or Spotify, guys. We love bringing these kind of interviews to you so you can expand your portfolio, add some new tools to your toolbox. So until next, take care and go do some deals.
See you guys.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.